Hey, what's up, everybody? Christian Brindle here, and I wanted to just give you a quick introduction to this video to kind of put some context into a few things. So, we get people all the time with the new company that I am a co-owner of now, which is Lead Heroes, which is a lead generation company, that just don't quite know how to work their leads. And sometimes it's just not as simple as coming up with a good script or a good opening necessarily, but how to handle conversations, how to handle objections. I think people really make it harder than it needs to be. Oftentimes people just let the prospect bulldoze over them. And the reality is, I think anytime you have a lead that you buy from any type of vendor, for one, it's not going to be a laydown. It's going to be one of those things where if you do well with the batch, you're going to be closing about 20% of them. I've been saying this for years. And if you do the math on what you pay for the lead, and if you close, let's say, 20% of them, if you work them properly, you're going to have a significant ROI versus what you spend. And that's the game when it comes to lead generation. But they have to be worked properly. They have to be called multiple times. And you have to be able to maneuver the phone call. So in this video, I actually spent about 3 hours training one of them, our internal agents named Celeste, on calling these leads. And I figured it would be a great thing to record it and also upload it for all to see. And hopefully it brings you some value and helps you work these leads a little bit better and gives you an example of where you can go. These leads I'm working are turning 65 leads with Lead Heroes. Turning 65 leads often are not capable in many cases of being a one-call close, right? Because sometimes they're just way too far out. They're not even eligible yet. They don't even have their Medicare card yet. And that's what you see in this video. But there are plenty of calls I have where, we have follow-ups with the people. We had great conversations with them. And we're going to be able to write some apps off of just the few hours that I spent calling this today. Now, just for people's privacy and, all of that stuff, we had to edit the video and condense it down just to protect people's private information. We also kind of are taking about 3 hours of footage of me calling and condensing it down a little bit. So the video is edited. We had to take some things out just for privacy reasons and also just to make it to where it wasn't a 3-hour video. But without further ado, I hope you enjoy and get value out of this.
Please leave your message for 801458.
I'm not leaving voicemails. Spoke with Stanley, verified age, have coverage through work, will enroll in Medicare, and agreed to be contacted in the afternoon. Not really a great one, but, never know.
Thank you for calling. Leave me a message.
Called once. Next. Don't you love when you can't pronounce the name? Sonbol? Sonbol? Spoke with Sonbol, confirmed T65 when we begin enrolling Medicare. Agreed to be contacted anytime. Good. Good. Anytime is what I want.
Your call has been forwarded to voicemail.
Hey, Diane.
Hi, this is Diane. Have a good.
Hello?
Hi, is this Jerry?
Look, you guys call me like 500 times a day.
Jerry. Oh, I'm sorry about that, Jerry. Have a good day. All right. Adios. Not Jerry, according to Jerry. So just so everybody knows, I'm not leaving messages for a reason, although if you don't have some kind of automation going that leaves a voicemail automatically, you probably should leave one. Granted, most people aren't going to call back, but here's the thing. So we have an answering service going, so the answering service would intercept them if they call back. And truthfully, like I'm making calls to demonstrate conversations with actual leads. I'm not going to follow up with them, although somebody in our office might. So just wanted to provide a little clarity on that because I'm sure that's a question that I will get.
Hi, this is Mitch. Leave your name.
Not off to a great start, but 'tis young.
Hi, you've reached Nancy. I'm sorry.
Part of the problem with turning 65 people is they are getting hounded like a million times a day. So it can be hard to get through by calling at times.
801.
Okay. All right, so that's the end of the Utah leads. Move on to the Colorado leads, but before I do that, I'm kind of curious. I would like to listen to this recording a little bit of this guy who said he's not Jerry.
Hello, Jerry.
Hey, how's it going?
Yes, hi there. My name is Precious, calling from Senior Services. Is this Jerry Gerhardt?
Yes, it is.
All right. We're calling from Senior Services, and we're calling you real quick.
Just as I thought. Yep. So, not that it matters too much. I mean, the thing is when someone you call up and somebody's like, "Oh, I'm not that person," you're not going to go anywhere with them. So if you remember on that call, I rushed off of it because the last thing I want to do is waste my time. Okay, let's move on to Colorado now.
Hello.
Hi, is this Kim?
Yes.
Hi, Kim. My name is Christian. In the last couple of days, you had a conversation with one of my associates who mentioned that one of the Medicare specialists for your area was going to be reaching out to you. So that was just me getting back in touch with you. Do you mind if I ask you a couple of questions to just determine if I can be of any service?
Sure.
Okay, perfect. So I just want to verify a little information here. So it looks like you're turning 65 in May, according to our records. Is that accurate?
Yes.
Okay, perfect. Are you working by chance still?
No.
Okay. And are you drawing off Social Security at the moment?
Yeah, I'm not comfortable answering those questions.
Oh, that's all right. Can I provide just a little context in terms of why I'm asking? So I want to provide you today with, just some real helpful information on kind of your Medicare options. That's kind of our specialty here. And when somebody's drawing off of Social Security, they're automatically enrolled into Medicare and they don't have to take any steps to apply for it. And so sometimes it kind of helps if we kind of know if they are drawing. So that way we can tell them, okay, if you're drawing, you don't have to take any steps to apply, but if you're not, there's a process of how you should apply for Medicare. And so it just kind of helps me kind of provide some of that information, but by all means, don't feel like you have to answer the question. That's just why I was asking.
Okay, well, just so you know, I've already talked to someone and
Okay.
they've already told me that they can't do anything for me until I turn 65. So,
Well, actually, that's I'm not sure who you spoke with, but that's actually not the case. You actually want to make some you actually want to start looking into things and start making preparations prior to turning 65 because Medicare actually usually will start on the first of your birth month for most people. And you first enter eligibility 90 days before your birth month. So like if your birthday's in May, your Medicare will usually start May 1st.
Right.
And then 90 days before that is really when you want to start making preparations. I would not advise waiting till your birthday necessarily because at that point it's not to say that you can't do anything, but Medicare is usually designed to start on the first of your birth month.
okay.
So the person that you spoke with, have they kind of broken down kind of how the process works and kind of what your options look like?
No, they didn't. It's just when they asked me about if I was on it, I told them, and they said that, or when I had asked about the Medicare information,
Yeah.
and they
Yeah.
told me that they just couldn't help me until I turned 65. So,
Gotcha. So, yeah, that information is not accurate. So I want to make sure that I provide you on this call with all the accurate information. Can I quickly tell you a little bit about me so that way you just kind of know who we are and kind of what we do?
okay.
So I'm actually with an agency that is actually located in Salt Lake. So we're not there in Colorado, but we service pretty much the whole country. We're one of the most well-respected, reputable Medicare agencies in the country, right? So we specialize in Medicare. We don't really do much of anything else. And because we specialize in it, we're extremely good at it, and kind of what we are is
Right.
we're a brokerage of sorts. And so we work with a multitude of different insurance companies across the country. And what we're good at is we help people kind of understand what their options are. because not everybody's the same, right? Not everybody needs the same kind of structure with their Medicare because everybody has
Right.
different needs and preferences. But we have a phenomenal reputation. We've been in business for 11 years now. We have thousands of very satisfied clients. And we have a great reputation online as well, so I mean, the nice thing is people can always look us up and see that we're a legitimate organization.
Right.
So what I want to kind of provide for you on this call is, could we take some time and kind of walk through the process of Medicare and kind of how it works and what your options are?
I'm going to stop you there. I'm
Sure.
also on Medicaid,
Okay.
so I'll be going through them and stuff. So, but I do appreciate your time.
Well, you
and I hope
actually
you have an awesome day.
you actually want some prescription coverage as well, because Medicaid doesn't automatically come with that. We can still provide you with some really great options, even if you have Medicare and Medicaid. It won't cost you anything.
Medication, though.
But it
So-
changes when you get on Medicare. It's a different animal.
Well,
I mean,
thank you. I'm just going to contact someone that's in my state, in my city, that I can talk to.
What if I could get you hooked up with somebody in your state that we work with? Would that be all right? Okay. She hung up. So ultimately, Celeste, anything on that one that jumped out to you?
One, she was misinformed.
Yes, 100%.
And two, our Medicaid workers, they're generally not able to provide Medicare plan
No.
enrollment.
No. So sometimes in a situation like that, you only have a finite amount of time to talk, right? Like they have a limit before they're going to hang up on you.
Yeah.
And ultimately, maybe I could have handled certain aspects of the call better because it ended with her disconnecting on me. But ultimately, at the end of the day, we're fighting an uphill battle in a situation like that because you hit it right on the head, right? She's been grossly misinformed. She's been told she doesn't have to do anything until her birthday, which is not right information whatsoever. Yeah, I mean, you just try to fight and claw. Like one thing I was trying to do, I don't know if you noticed, is I was trying to just, bullet my points in and not, not let her just cut me off and not let her hang up. I was trying to get the last word in so that she keep talking to me. Sometimes it works, sometimes it doesn't. In that case, it didn't work. But
well, and she, within a few seconds of the call, like she was already in the process of shutting you down with well, I've already talked to somebody.
Yep.
And she seemed to open up a little bit when you told her that it wasn't, like, what she'd been told was not true. But, from the get-go, she was pretty well checked out.
Yeah. And a lot of times when they're like that from the get-go, the call won't go anywhere. But what is my rule always, right? Get cold told no 3 times at least.
3 times. Yeah.
So I'm trying to get enough no's. Pretty good call, I think. Example call. At least we got somebody. Yeah. Kim not wanting to talk.
Hello.
Hi, is this Michael?
Yeah, who's this?
Michael, my name is Christian. The other day on the 16th, you had a conversation with one of my associates who mentioned that a Medicare specialist for your area was going to be reaching out to you. That's me. I just was getting back in touch with you. Do you mind if I ask you just a couple of questions to determine if I can be of any service?
Sure.
Awesome. Okay. So, according to what my records show me here, it looks like you're turning 65 in May. Is that correct? Okay. Are you currently working by chance? Okay. Got it. The reason why I'm asking is because I wanted to try to get a really good idea of your situation so I can provide you with all the accurate information for your Medicare options. That's kind of what the call is about. If you are drawing off Social Security, you don't have to tell me if you are or not. You'll automatically be enrolled into Medicare. I don't know if you're aware of that, but if you're not, you're going to want to take some steps to actually apply for it online with Social Security. And that's something we can help walk you through. Have you had a conversation with anybody yet that has kind of explained kind of the process of getting onto Medicare and walking through your options at all?
No.
Okay, gotcha. Well, let me just quickly kind of tell you, kind of who I am and kind of the organization I'm with. So I'm with an agency that we help people that are getting onto Medicare and already on Medicare across the country in over 40 states. We specialize in Medicare. We've been in business for over 11 years. And we have a great, great client satisfaction rating. We have a great online presence as well. And we work with a multitude of different insurance companies. The best part is our services are completely complimentary and free. There's no cost and there's no obligation to have a conversation with us. So what I wanted to kind of explain is the process of Medicare. So your birthday's in May. What day in May?
The third.
The 3rd. Okay. So Medicare will usually start on the 1st of your birth month. I'm not sure if you're aware of that or not, but so Medicare in most cases will start on the 1st of your birth month. So in your case, it will start May 1st. 90 days before May is when you're first eligible to apply for Medicare. So essentially February 1st, this month, if my math there is correct, is the first day that you're eligible to apply for Medicare. And Medicare on its own has some pretty gaping holes in kind of the coverage that it provides you. So Medicare on its own essentially is medical coverage. So essentially it provides you with 80% medical coverage and it leaves an unlimited 20% behind for you to pay. And so kind of what we do as an organization is we provide folks with policies through insurance companies that fill in the gaps of what Medicare doesn't pay. And Medicare doesn't cover prescription drugs. Medicare doesn't cover dental, vision, or hearing. So there's some pretty gaping holes in the coverage that it provides. And there are certain kind of plans out there. There's plans that you can pick up that don't cost any additional money because they're federally funded, and they can kind of fill in the holes and provide you a little bit of a broader scope of coverage. And there's other plans that might be even a little stronger of coverage, but they cost a monthly cost for you. And there's really 2 different types of plans that exist in the Medicare world. Does that make sense so far?
Oh, yeah.
Okay, gotcha. So can I ask what kind of insurance you're on now? Are you on Marketplace or something else?
Blue Cross Blue Shield.
Blue Cross Blue Shield. How do you like that coverage? It's all right? Okay, good deal. So with Medicare, when you do apply for Medicare, do you mind if I ask, are you drawing off Social Security right now? Okay. So any day now, you might have already received it, but you're going to get a Medicare card in the mail. I don't know if you've seen something like that come yet in the mail or not, but you're automatically going to be enrolled into Medicare. It's actually nothing you have to do to apply for, because when you're drawing, they automatically enroll you. Have you seen any kind of Medicare card come in the mail yet? Okay. So you know that card, how it said Part A and Part B on it? Does that ring a bell? Okay. So if you got that card and looked at it, I'm not saying you need to right now, but just if you got that card and looked at it, you would notice there's a Medicare number, there's your name, and then there's Medicare Part A and Part B listed on the card. And then it also says your effective dates which would be May 1st. What Part A and B are is they're the 2 parts of Medicare that come from the government. So they work like 2 pieces of a puzzle that fit together to give you medical coverage. So Part A comes at no cost, as long as you've worked in the country at least 10 years of your life. Most people have. Medicare Part B has a monthly premium attached to it. And if you haven't already, at some point in the coming weeks, you'll probably get a letter from Medicare just letting you know what the premium is for Medicare Part B. But I'll just tell you what it is. It's for most folks $174.70 a month, unless you're in a real high income bracket, or if you're in a real low income bracket. But outside of that, it's usually the same for everybody. And do you happen to have Medicaid as well or no? Okay, gotcha. So that Medicare Part B premium, that $174.70 a month, that will automatically start coming out of your Social Security check in May. So when your Medicare takes effect. Has anyone explained that to you quite yet? Okay. Well, I just wanted to make you aware of that and kind of let you know how it works. So what I do in my specialty is I'm real good at helping people understand what their options are, right? Because with Medicare, it's limited coverage. And helping people understand what their options are, and then trying to help them find the best plan based on their needs and preferences. And I'm able to do that because I can work with a multitude of different insurance companies to kind of shop your options for you and save you a bunch of time. Again, my services are completely complimentary. They're no cost to you and there's no obligation. There's a couple different things we could do, and tell me which one you think is the best for you. I could kind of go through your options right now in terms of the different plans and explain them to you. Or if you like, if you wanted, I could gather a list of any prescriptions you're taking and any doctors you're seeing, and I could do some homework for you and get back with you on some options as well. Is one of those two options or kind of pathways forward something that you think would be easy for you? Because I want to make sure that I provide the information to you in the easiest, simplest way. So basically, I could walk through your options now in a generic sense, or I could gather a little bit of information and kind of put together a custom explanation for you.
Can we stop here? I need to go.
Okay. Is there a time that is better for you that I can check back with you?
Yeah, that would be, I think Monday,
Monday? What time is best for you on Monday?
all around 12 o'clock.
Around 12 o'clock. You're Mountain Standard Time, aren't you?
Yeah.
Yeah, we're neighbors. I'm in Utah myself, so am I. So I just wanted to make sure of that. So 12 o'clock on Monday. Does that sound good? All right. I might have one of my associates named Celeste reach back out to you. So watch for a call from her. If you hear from someone named Celeste, she works with me directly, okay? Thank you, sir. I really appreciate your time and have a wonderful weekend, all right? All right, talk soon. Bye-bye. Okay, thoughts on that one?
You sounded bored as hell.
Right. So like I don't know if you noticed, like I was trying to I didn't want to waste my time. You know, I was like, how deep do I go into this explanation with him? Because I'm like, I don't think he's really listening.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So what do you want a call like that? If they're not giving you much, there's not a whole lot you can do. But if they're letting you stay on the phone, you just try to go, you know, I don't know if you noticed, I was trying to put it in his hands. I'm like, I could go through your options now, or I could gather some information and put together a custom quote for you. Like I was trying to ask him questions to keep him engaged with me.
Get him to, yeah.
But at the end of the day, you're right. He wasn't giving me much, but.
What was his name? I'll put him in my calendar for Monday.
Wouldn't expect a whole lot from that one, but the gold's in the follow-up, right?
Mm-hmm.
I mean, I don't think there was a lot of directions to go with that one. But yeah, I mean, I think a lot of those calls is just about keeping them and trying to keep them engaged as much as you can.
He continued to actually answer your questions, even as, you know, bored and uninterested as he sounded when he answered, he was still answering.
Right. So
I was even more surprised when he actually gave you a time to call back.
See, like that call might go nowhere and he might not be the best prospect. But the thing is, what I found over the years is when they're not giving you much, if you can ask them questions, you're almost like programming them to, this is going to sound bad. I don't mean for it to, but you're almost programming them to be compliant to you in a sense, you know? You're getting it in their mind when you ask a question, they answer.
Right.
You know? And I'm like, I was thinking to myself, I'm like, if I just go into MedSup versus Medicare Advantage with this guy, I'm going to lose him. Like this isn't going to work in this moment right now. But I'm trying to keep him engaged. I'm trying to keep him on the phone. I'm trying to keep him talking to me. And I think we did that. I think honestly, we probably did as good as we could have on that one. But
yeah,
you know, little things. So just for everybody that's watching the video, these T65 leads, they are very much a pipeline game. I've talked about this before, right? So there's going to be a lot of people that you need to marinate with. Now, this guy had his Medicare card. So what did we learn on this last call? He has his Medicare card. We got him to tell us that, right? We got him to tell us wasn't on Medicaid, so he's not a dual. We got him to tell us he doesn't have group insurance. So this guy's ready to be written if we can get him to have a conversation with us. And if we can get him a little bit more engaged. It's a challenging task and it might not happen, but we got a lot of really good information on this guy. And I think there's a chance that we can turn him into a client, right? Because if he's, and I took a little bit of a different approach on this call than I did on that last call. I didn't straight out ask about the Social Security question. I kind of explained first, if you're drawing off Social Security, this happens. If you're not, this happens. But then after I explained that, a few questions later, I did say, I'm like, are you drawing off Social Security? And he knew why I was asking that. Whereas the first call, I asked it, she's not comfortable with it, she doesn't know why I'm asking. So maybe that was a better approach. Maybe not. Maybe it didn't matter. But just a few things I noticed on it. But yeah, these 265 leads guys, they're a pipeline game. There is a lot of follow-up. A lot of these people are not ready to be written. Or, you know, they're like, I have to go somewhere. I have to go to the bank. I have to go to my sister's house. I have to go to the moon. I have to go to Pluto. You know, I gotta go to Pluto. And it's a follow-up game. So what did I do as soon as he said that? I immediately went into scheduling a time. Immediately, without hesitation. I'm like, oh, no problem. When's good for you? Monday? What time Monday? You know, I'm going right into that, because the worst thing you can do when you're having a conversation like that is getting off the phone without a plan on when you're going to call back. You know, like schedule a follow-up call right then and there if they'll let you. So anyway, a few of my thoughts. Okay, William is next. See, I always hate calling like Williams because I don't know if they're Bill or they're Will or they're Willie and if like no one in their life calls them William, you know that. Right? So like if you say William, they're going to be like, they know right off the bat that you're a salesperson. But if you risk it and say Bill, they're going to be like, Bill, no one ever calls me Bill. I'm Willie, you know, or something like, so like you can't win with a William. But let's go in and try it anyway. Ultimately, I'm just going to say William because I don't know what else to do there.
You can listen to the call recording first and see if he corrects them. Good
point. Yeah, good idea. Let's check this call recording out. Can you hear the call recording, Celeste?
This is just to escalate your benefits since you were turning 65. And this is Albert. I'm from Senior Services. We're calling you because our record indicates that you were turning 65, correct?
Yeah, that's right. But I don't know what else to tell you guys.
Don't worry, sir. Don't worry. It's going to be really quick. You only have to.
They didn't really say his name, did they? Oh, well.
Sometimes the recording doesn't start until after they've already asked for their name. I come across that a lot, especially with like ones like you were having that you don't know how to pronounce it. And I've checked the recordings just to see, and the recording itself has actually started after that point.
Yeah. Yeah. Oh well, let's just try it. Worst thing we can say is, I'm not William, douchebag. I've had some of those before. I really hope I get somebody that just screams at me. That'd be good for the video. Gotta have one of those. I swear to God, if you call me again. You know, that's what I want. I want one of those.
Your call has been forwarded.
Ha! See, it wasn't even an issue. He didn't even answer. William.
Hi, you've reached victory. I'm sorry.
Hi, is this Ernestine?
Yes, speaking.
Hi, Ernestine. My name is Christian. A couple of days ago, you spoke with one of my associates on the phone on the 20th, and they mentioned that one of the Medicare specialists for your area would be reaching out to you and kind of going over some information with you.
in there right now. I'm on my way out for an appointment.
Okay, is there a better time that I can try again and reach back out to you? Okay, so she just hung up on me. But at least we tried to get the follow-up. Pick and hang. That gives me an opportunity, though. I'm going to see if I can tell in the recording what this name, how to pronounce this name. Pick and hang. Okay.
Hello, you have reached Veronica. You need your name.
Hello,
Hi, is this Steven?
who's this?
Steven, my name is Christian. The other day on the 20th, you spoke with one of my associates on the phone, and they had mentioned that a Medicare specialist for your area was going to be reaching out to you. That's me. I was just calling to see if I could ask a couple of questions to determine if I can be of any service.
Well, I talked to a healthcare specialist in Grand Junction where I
Okay.
live, and they're getting me all set up.
Okay. Well, I know it might be out of the question a little bit, but do you think there's any chance that you might possibly be open into some kind of second opinion? We don't charge anything, and of course, it'd have no obligation. But what we found is there's a lot of value in getting a second opinion, just because sometimes you might not be aware or made aware of an option that's available for you that might possibly be a better fit than what they suggest. We're a national.
I went through all the scenarios with them. This is the third person I've went through.
Oh, that's
And
good.
they gave me the best deal. And
Gotcha.
you get everything, Part A, Part B, supplemental, everything for like $242 a month.
Okay, so they were suggesting a Medicare supplement plan, right? Was it a plan G or an N? Do you know?
I can't remember. It might have been a G.
Okay, the G is a very popular plan, so that wouldn't surprise me if that's the direction they went. And I'm assuming they looked at Medicare Advantage with you. You probably just didn't have a lot of interest in that. Is that right?
Medicare, what's that?
So Medicare Advantage is the other side of the coin, right? So when you get onto Medicare, there's two different kinds of plans that exist. Medicare Supplement is one way you can go. Medicare Advantage is the other way you can go. And so Medicare Advantage is like, they're federally funded plans. And because they're federally funded, they provide you with additional medical coverage on top of Medicare. Well, superior to Medicare, I should say. Prescription drug coverage, dental, vision, hearing, and a slew of other benefits, but they usually don't cost any premium in a lot of areas. They're usually a $0 monthly premium. And so like my approach when I'm working with somebody that's getting onto Medicare is I want to show them Medicare Advantage and Medicare Supplement side by side and show them from an unbiased perspective the pros and cons, because neither one of them is perfect. Both of them have their good points and both of them have their drawbacks. But Medicare Advantage is a really popular option. Like, I saw a study the other day that said like 60% of people on Medicare in the country have Medicare Advantage plans. So the majority of people actually have it rather than the minority these days.
Yeah.
But yeah, if they didn't go through that option with you at all, that does kind of concern me a little bit, because it makes it seem like to me they're showing you one side of the coin and not showing you the other side whatsoever. It's kind of like showing you heads without showing you tails.
What carriers are you using?
So we work with a multitude of different carriers, so we work with all the national insurance companies for one, all the big name insurance companies. And in your area there, we're in Utah, so we are kind of your neighbors, in a sense.
Yeah.
But we're licensed in over 40 states. So I'm actually the co-owner of the company, believe it or not.
Oh, cool.
And so essentially, we work with some local regional carriers there in Colorado, and we work with a bunch of different insurance companies. We have over 90 insurance companies in the country, so we have a ton of different companies and a multitude of options. In your area, we pretty much offer any option that we're able to offer. There are some companies that don't work with agents, but you wouldn't be able to get those through any agent, if they don't work with agents.
Yeah.
But yeah, so the way that Medicare Advantage works though is like, instead of with the Medicare Supplement, right? You have your A and B, you have your Medicare Supplement, that's the secondary on the medical, right? And then you have a separate prescription drug plan. And then sometimes you'll get a separate dental plan, right? So you have all these different working parts. Whereas with Medicare Advantage plans, you have you have essentially all-in-one coverage. So your medical, your Part D is included, your dental, vision, hearing is included. A lot of times they'll cover additional items like gym memberships, and they'll cover over-the-counter items like aspirin and Band-Aids and toothpaste and things like that. So they cover a much wider variety of items than original Medicare does. They're a much lower premium. Now, their coverage is just it's just different than Medicare Supplement is what I would say. Here's what I would say, and tell me what you think about it. Would you possibly be open to us doing like a 15, 20-minute presentation with you on Medicare Supplement versus Medicare Advantage side by side and kind of explaining the pros and cons? And then if you still feel strongly about going with the option they presented, no problem whatsoever. But at the very least, we got to show you the full scope of your options. I mean, would that be all right?
Yeah, it's gonna have to be at another time right now. I got some other calls coming in.
That's okay. That's quite all right. When is a convenient time for you? I want to cater to your schedule.
How late do you guys work?
Oh man, I mean, we can work. I mean, I would say we're on the same time zone as you, so that's nice too, right? We're Mountain Standard.
Yeah.
So we usually will probably. I think me personally, I'll probably work as late as 6 o'clock most days. So, I mean, if there's a time or a day that works well for you, I could make myself available. Usually kind of what I had in mind was I was wondering if we could jump on like a Zoom call so I could screen share with you and show you some visuals, because sometimes it helps to be able to look at something.
Okay. Yeah, it'll have to be. Give me a call Monday and we'll set up a time. Right now, they've got me crunched with so many rigs to hit. I'm a field sales rep in New Mexico and Texas.
Oh, got it.
They've got me all over the place right now.
I understand. We're brothers in arms in that sense a little bit, right?
Yes, sir.
So I'll give you a call. Is there a certain time Monday that I'll have the best chance of getting you on the phone to schedule that?
Between 4 and 5 would probably be the best.
Okay. What do you think about this? Tell me what you think about this. Just a thought. What if I called Monday? I'm looking at my schedule real quick. Monday at 4, and maybe we see if we could just hop on a Zoom call then. Would that work?
So I'll probably be driving.
Okay, got it. No, that's all right.
Between 4 and 5, when I get home, I get home between 4 and 5. That way I can sit down and do it. I can't do it while I'm driving at 80 miles an hour.
Yeah, I totally understand. Perfect. So how about I call you Monday at 4? Maybe you'll know your schedule a little better, and then we can schedule something for later in the week. Does that sound like a winner?
That sounds good.
Awesome. Well, I certainly appreciate your time and giving me the opportunity to talk to you. And I will talk with you Monday at 4, okay?
Okay, thanks.
Thank you, sir. Have a good weekend, okay?
You too.
Thank you. Bye-bye. Thoughts on that one?
I hate it when people only present one option. That
it's also the
crap
death
out
of
me.
them, right? So here's my thoughts on this, and tell me if there's anything you think I'm missing. So you hit it right on the head, right? They only showed him MedSup. Dumb.
Well, and how are they showing him? Maybe he wasn't factoring in the Part B premium. Because for $220 something a month, you're not getting a Plan G and a prescription plan and Part B.
I'm positive that he wasn't factoring that in. He was probably just looking at the drug plan cost and the Plan G and maybe a dental plan, something like that. That is past your work hours. Do you want me to just follow up with this guy?
I could Monday. No, I should be able to do it. I don't have anything then.
You sure?
Yeah.
Okay. All right. So I'm going to send you his information. So here's the thing that I want to point out on this, and tell me if you notice this too. So he immediately shut me down, right? This is why it's so important to not take one no. He immediately shuts me down, says, I'm already working with somebody. I've already talked to 3 people, blah, blah, blah. I kept asking questions. I didn't stop. I wasn't like, okay, bye-bye. I was like, I kept asking questions. And the question that got me in the door was, did they, it sounds like they talked to you about Medicare supplement. I'm assuming somebody talked to you about Medicare Advantage, right? You probably just weren't interested in that. He's like, what's that?
Mm-hmm.
And then he's like, I didn't even know about this.
Yeah.
Right. So the questions, right? The follow-up questions, not letting people steamroll you, for all you guys watching this, is the key with any lead, right? And asking these very thought-provoking questions, you almost want to cause doubt in their mind, right? I feel really good about that one. I mean, what do you think, Celeste? Like, how do you think that call was on a scale of 1 to 10, factoring everything in?
I think that it's really good. He was very responsive. He sounds very upbeat and interested in what you were saying. And so I definitely think that's a really good prospect there.
Yeah, I think that one has a lot of potential. And he's a salesperson, right? So like salespeople are the ones that are the most sympathetic for other salespeople. So I kind of played that to my advantage, right? I'm like, we're brothers in arms, you know? He's like, yeah, we're brothers in arms, you know? Monday at 4. So when you call, make sure that you have to go out of your way, because I didn't mention you. So
Right.
you have to go out of your way and be like, you spoke with my boss, Christian, Friday. He didn't have time to call. His schedule got kind of away from him, but I'm an agent that works directly with him. He asked me to give you a call.
What I usually do, because that makes you sound like he was beneath you, the time it would take to that would be beneath you. So what I usually do is when you send me somebody that you've already spoken to or already have an appointment scheduled with, I usually say, Christian had a family emergency, but he asked me to give you a call because he didn't want your appointment to get pushed back or anything like that.
That's good. That's perfect. Love it. Yeah, so that one was a really good one, I think.
Yeah, I think so too.
Yeah, I mean, so many agents, I think, with leads in general, I don't think it's just these leads or lead hero leads, but they're just expecting these to be like, they answer the phone and they're like, I've been waiting for you my whole life. Take my Medicare card, that's what they're expecting.
Where have you been? Yeah.
And that's just not the case. Like, you have to, I've always said a lead is somebody that expressed vague interest, but it's vague. Vague is the word. And I've heard people be like, my leads are 99% close ratio, and they're talking about referrals. I'm like, a referral isn't a lead. Anybody that thinks a referral is a lead, I mean, I guess in the technical sense it is, but my definition of a lead that's not what a lead is. It's its own thing. So with any type of lead that you're working, you really have to slither, maneuver, ask questions. Obviously, I haven't gotten anywhere to where I'm going to write anybody yet, but I've had really 3 conversations or 2. I think I've had 2 conversations where they could go somewhere. They can result into clients. But the T65 game is the follow-up game. It's very common that you're going to have 2-3-step appointments. So let's keep going. I'm already sick of this. And how many more have we got? I think they're generating leads as we go. Yeah, they're putting them on as we go. Those rascallions.
Add to you.
Okay.
Hi, you reached Gabby. Please leave your message for
Called once. Let's call Leonard. Leonard Hofstetter. Big Bang fans out there. Hi, is this Leonard?
Yeah,
Leonard, my name is Christian. A couple of days ago on the 21st, you had a conversation with one of my associates who mentioned that a Medicare specialist for your area is going to be reaching out to you. That's me. I just was calling and wondering if I could ask a couple of questions to determine if I can be of any service.
okay,
Okay, perfect. So I see you're turning 65 in July. Is that correct?
all right.
Okay. Has anyone had a conversation with you yet on kind of how the whole Medicare process works and kind of what your options are?
No,
Okay, gotcha. Are you working right now?
no.
Okay. The last question I'm going to ask, I'm going to give some context before I ask it. If I don't know if you've been aware of this yet or anyone's explained this to you yet, but so Medicare starts when you're 65, right? I think most people have learned that, right? Because they start getting mailers and stuff when they turn 64. But Medicare usually starts when you turn 65, but it usually starts on the first of your birth month. So like if your birthday's in July, normally your Medicare effective dates will be July 1st.
Okay.
And 90 days before July 1st is when you first enter your window for Medicare. So if your Medicare starts in July, I believe that is April is when you first enter your Medicare window. So you still are a ways out. You still have some time to kind of learn about this and make some good preparations. But if you're drawing off Social Security right now, and I don't know if you are or aren't, you are automatically enrolled in Medicare from the government. I don't know if anyone's explained that to you yet.
Okay.
If you're not drawing off Social Security, you actually have to take some steps to actually apply online on Social Security's website. Are you drawing off Social Security right now? Do you mind if I ask?
No, I'm not.
Okay, gotcha. So when you get to 90 days out, which will be April basically for you, you're going to want to go on the Social Security website and apply for Medicare. And that is something my organization can assist you with. We can help with if you need us to. So let me quickly just tell you a little bit about me and who I am, if that's all right. So my name is Christian, like I said. I'm actually a co-owner of an agency that operates in Utah. So we're your neighbors. We're on Mountain Standard Time as well, right? And we operate in over 40 states where we specialize in helping people like you that are getting onto Medicare kind of sort through their options, understand the process better, and kind of narrow down their options to find the best overall choice for them. You know, we work with a multitude of different insurance companies across the country. So what we do is we shop your options for you. And the good thing is there's no cost for our services. They're completely complimentary, and there's also no obligation. So if like we do some checking for you or we make some suggestions for you and you wanted to go in a different direction, that's no problem at all. There's no obligation to it. Would it be all right if I walk through with you real quickly kind of the process of Medicare and kind of what your options look like from a real 10,000-foot view?
Okay, how long is this gonna take? Because I was on my way out the door.
Okay. How much time do you have now?
Just no more than 10, 15 minutes.
Okay, I think that actually would be enough for me to explain this to you. Is that all right if we kind of walk through this a little bit together?
Okay.
Okay, so with Medicare, I kind of mentioned that your Medicare will start in July. You're eligible starting April 1st to apply for it. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
So with Medicare, when you apply for Medicare, there's two parts of Medicare that come from the government. And these two parts of Medicare are what's known as Medicare Part A and Medicare Part B. And these two parts of Medicare work like two pieces of a puzzle that fit together to give you Medicare. They give you medical coverage is what they give you. So Medicare Part A won't cost you anything. There's no premium to it. As long as you have worked in the country at least 10 years, it's no cost. You know, you paid for it in FICA taxes when you were working.
Okay.
Now, Medicare Part B does have a monthly premium, and everybody pays it that's on Medicare. The exception is if somebody's in a real low income bracket and they get Medicaid from the state of Colorado, then they don't pay for it. But outside of that, you know, everybody pays this monthly premium for Medicare Part B. And this year in 2024, it's $174.70 a month.
Okay.
So just so you know that's like the baseline cost of being on Medicare is that Medicare Part B premium. Now, Medicare on its own has a lot of limitations in the coverage, right? So what you get for A and B is, like I said, they're two pieces of a puzzle. They both cover different things, but together you have medical coverage. So hospital stays, surgeries, doctor's appointments, things like that, right?
Okay.
But on that medical coverage they're providing, they're only giving you about 80% of coverage, and they're leaving 20% behind that you're responsible for. And there's really no limit to what that 20% could be.
Right.
And so that's the first hole you have with Medicare on its own. The other thing is Medicare is very one-dimensional. So it provides medical coverage, but nothing else. So it doesn't provide prescription drug coverage. It doesn't provide coverage for dental, vision, or hearing, or anything like that. So what my job is I actually work with, like I said, a multitude of different insurance companies to where we find you a policy that pairs with your Medicare that essentially fills in these gaps and provides coverage for these areas, then you're not left exposed. And there's even a lot of situations where there's plans out there that are federally funded that actually have no cost to you. So some of these plans that are available, not all of them, but some of them that are available, you can pick them up at a $0 monthly cost because they're federally funded. So in that scenario, you can get these holes filled without having to really pay anything extra other than your Part B. Does that make sense so far?
Yeah.
So I'm gonna take a stab in the dark and guess that you've probably seen a ton of advertising lately about Medicare. Is that right?
Yeah.
I'm talking mailers, right? TV commercials. If you're on social media.
I don't think I've gotten anything in the mail yet.
Well, that's good.
Yeah, you're right.
That's good. That's helpful because the average person, when they get close to getting on Medicare, probably around how far out you are, it's pretty common that they'll get 10, 15, 20 pieces of mail a day about it. It's really crazy. It's kind of intense.
Okay.
But that's a good thing. It's a good thing you haven't gotten anything yet. It's mostly just, advertisements, propaganda. It's not really anything that really informs you much about things. But so with Medicare, there are two different types of plans that exist that in the Medicare world that you can pair with your Medicare. And everything you'll ever hear about with Medicare falls into one of these two categories. So you have plans that are known as Medicare supplement plans, and then you have plans that are known as Medicare Advantage plans. So my job as a Medicare specialist and an agent is really what I am, is my job is to help you understand these two different options and try to help you find which one's going to best cater to your needs and preferences. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
And so really, people always ask me which one of these two ways you can go with your Medicare is better than the other. In my opinion, there really isn't a direct answer to that because both have their drawbacks and their advantages. And it really just depends on the person and their needs. You know what I mean?
Right.
I know that you have limited time right now, but one thing I would love to do is to see if we could schedule a follow-up call where we can spend a little bit more time together, maybe 20 or 30 minutes, and I can explain these two plans to you, these two different types of plans from a real 10,000-foot view. And I want to help educate you on the whole process and what your options are. That's really what my goal is. And if you find the information that we bring to the table valuable, maybe we can work together and help you with your plan too.
Right. Okay.
Would it be all right if we scheduled a follow-up call where we can go a little bit more into the meat and potatoes of this?
Yes.
Okay. What is a good day for you next week? What is probably like the most the day that works the best in your schedule, right? The most convenient day for you.
I'm thinking Tuesday or Wednesday.
Okay. If we did Tuesday, what time of day is the best for you normally?
I would guess around between 10 and 12.
Between 10 and 12? How does 10:30 work for you?
That sounds good.
Okay.
I gotta write this down.
Yeah, please do. And then let me also give you my contact information if anything changes, okay? Because if anything changes, I'd love to be able to move the appointment with you if we can.
Okay. All right.
Do you have a pen?
Yes.
Okay, so my name is Christian. So I'm actually the co-owner of the company, believe it or not. And the name of my organization is actually named after me. I've been doing this 11 years, and when we first started, the company was named after me because I was the only person in the company. We just never bothered to change it because everybody knows the name now. We have thousands of clients and a real good online reputation. But the name of the company is Christian Brindle Insurance Services. You can search it on Google and you'll see all of the positive reviews. We have a perfect 5-star review and 120 reviews on Google.
Okay.
And my office number is 801
801
255
255
5340.
Okay.
So, and what I'm also going to mention to you, Leonard, is I'm actually going to have one of my most trusted agents that work with me directly reach out to you on that time instead of me. Is that okay? Her name is Celeste. I'm just a little tied up next week, but I'm going to brief her on our conversation and have her reach out to you, and then she's going to pick up where I left off. Is that okay?
Yes. Okay, can you spell that?
Her name?
Yeah.
Yes, it's CELESTE.
You said CEL
ESTE. So CELESTE. Celeste.
Okay, I got it.
Perfect. Well, I know that you have to run. I don't want to keep you. But thank you so much for your time today. And watch for that call Tuesday at 10:30, right? You have that in your calendar, right?
Good.
And Celeste will call. She'll pick up where I left off. And I think we'll be able to kind of really help you get a good understanding of your options. And really, our goal is to make sure that you are in the best spot possible with all this stuff, okay?
Okay.
Perfect. Well,
All right, thank you.
thank you, Leonard. Have a wonderful weekend, okay?
Okay, you too.
All right. Thank you, sir.
All right.
Bye-bye. Thoughts? You're muted. I can't hear you.
That was awesome.
See, that was probably the best one so far, right?
Yeah.
So
Yeah, he was great.
yeah. See, that was one where there wasn't a lot of pushback,
Yeah.
but and if he had his Medicare card, I could have written him, I think, today. I think that's the way things were going. But he doesn't have his Medicare card yet. So this is going to be one we're going to have to marinate, right? He's probably not going to be eligible till April anyway, but
Yeah.
and he said he had limited time, 10, 15 minutes. So I wanted to tell him enough to where, he knows I know what I'm talking about.
Yeah.
But I didn't want to go too deep and try to squeeze the whole presentation into that, right? So I'm like, okay, let's do what I can now. Let's explain the basics, and then schedule up a follow-up call when he's sold on us.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, I think that one is really good. You see, guys, like all of you guys watching this that struggle with leads, I have not called a lead. Celeste, how many years do you think it's been since I called a lead? Like, what would you guess?
It's been at least, like, actually dialing leads.
Yeah,
I would imagine 4 or 5 years.
Yeah, easy. And if like I'm not really having much trouble, you know what I mean? Like, you guys can do this. You guys can do this. Okay, Tuesday at 10:30 Mountain Standard Time. I think all 3 of those ones that we got scheduled appointments for, I think there's a good shot we could get all 3 potentially. I mean, do you feel that way too?
Yeah, I do.
So how many of these should I do? Like, how many examples do I have to give? I don't know. I'm so sick of it. I told Glenn I'd do the whole thing, so I probably should do that.
You could probably tell them to go ahead and stop giving you new ones.
Okay, I'm going to tell them that. I'm going to say, hello?
Hello,
Hi, is this Leah?
this is Lee, yeah.
Leah, hi, my name is Christian. Yesterday on the 22nd, you spoke with one of my associates who had mentioned that Medicare specialists for your area would reach out to you in the next couple of days.
Okay.
So that's me. I'm just reaching out. Do you mind if I ask you a couple of questions to determine if I can be of any service?
Okay.
Okay, perfect. So, according to my records, it looks like you're turning 65 in April. Is that correct?
That's correct.
Okay, gotcha. And are you currently working right now?
I am.
Okay, gotcha. Do you have insurance through work by chance?
Yes, I do.
Okay, gotcha. So question that I have for you is, has anyone had the Medicare conversation with you yet in terms of kind of like how it works, what your options are? And the reason why I'm asking about work insurance is you do have some unique options by having work insurance through an active employer. It actually allows you to postpone your Medicare, but I'm just kind of curious how deeply you've already looked into this information.
No, on my list of things to do, sir. So
Oh, perfect. Okay, no, that's perfect. That is no problem.
Here's how I understand it at this point, right? And I have limited information is that I need to sign up for Medicare within 90 days pre or post my birthday, but I don't have to be enrolled. Is that right? Something like that?
Sort of. It's partially that. So hopefully, a few minutes together on the phone, I can cross this off your to-do list, right, to research, because this is what I do. So with Medicare, it is true you have a 7-month window to apply. So you have 3 months before your birth month, you have your birth month, and then you have 3 months after. So you're in that window currently. Now, here's the thing. There are 2 parts of Medicare that come from the government. You have Medicare Part A and you have Medicare Part B. Medicare Part A comes at no cost. Medicare Part B has a monthly premium to it, right? It's a little bit under $175 a month. Now, you have a unique privilege to where you are able to decide to postpone your Medicare, like I mentioned, because you have what's known as credible coverage through your employer. So as long as you have an group coverage through your employer and it's through an active employer, like a retirement plan wouldn't suffice. It'd have to be through an active employer. You can push your Medicare back and choose not to take it at 65, and there's no penalties or punishments of any kind by doing that. Now, a lot of times people will suggest to take Medicare Part A regardless in that scenario because it doesn't cost anything. But there are some scenarios, and basically you can take Part A and decide not to take Part B. You can take one without taking the other. But there's some circumstances that really kind of determine if that's the best thing for you to do or not. The first question I would have for you on that is, with your work insurance, do you have an HSA that you contribute to?
I do not.
Okay, perfect. So the reason why I ask is because they hit you with some penalties and some kind of different situations if you did. So if you did have one of those, I'd probably suggest not taking Part A, but I would at the very least take Part A. And you could apply for it now online. It's pretty easy to do. I actually have a tutorial video on YouTube I made that walks you through how to do it. I could actually send that to you if it would be helpful after this call.
Yes.
But so here's what I usually tell people. When you're working and you have coverage through your employer, sometimes it's better to keep that, and other times it's better to take Medicare instead. It kind of depends on how good that coverage is. Are you the only person on the coverage, or do you have anybody on it with you?
No, I'm only person.
Okay. May I possibly ask how much that coverage costs every month for you?
I'd have to look at I want to say it's close to $300 or $400.
Okay, so $300 or $400 a month. What is the coverage like? Does it have a deductible or anything like that? Do you know anything about that kind of element of it?
Yeah, there is a deductible, but it's low deductible.
Okay. Or do you think it's
higher premium, right?
Sure. Yeah, definitely. Right. You're probably paying a higher premium for a little bit better plan. When you say a low deductible, do you think it's probably in the 1,000 range, 2,000 range, or maybe even lower than that?
I would think it's 1,000 or less.
Okay. Gotcha. So here's why I ask. obviously, one option you have, as we talked about, is you can take Medicare Part A. The benefit of doing that is, to me, the biggest benefit of doing it is it's one less thing to do later. It doesn't cost you any money, right? It doesn't cost any premium for Medicare Part A. And it gives you a little bit of extra coverage, right? So Medicare Part A is hospital coverage. So it'll cover you if you were hospitalized, and there's very few other things other than that it does. It's very limited, but it's coverage you're not paying for, and it would be secondary to your work coverage if you were in the hospital for any reason. So you have that option on the table. The other option, go ahead.
You said something very important. It becomes secondary to whatever I have through my work. Okay.
Yes, that's right. Because when you're working and have coverage through your employer, anything you have Medicare related becomes secondary. But then let's say you had a retirement plan through your work and you had Medicare. In that case, it swaps, right? And Medicare is primary and then the work insurance is secondary. But since you're actively still working and it's an active group plan, anything you have that's Medicare related becomes secondary to your work plan.
Okay.
So the other option that you have is here with Medicare, you could take Medicare and go away from the group plan. And here's the kind of the upside of that. So there's a few different kinds so with Medicare by itself through the government, it is essentially limited coverage by itself, right? You probably heard that before, right? It has a lot of holes by itself if that's all somebody had. So when you take Part A and B, the best way to think about them is they work like two pieces of a puzzle that fit together to give you medical coverage. And so they both cover different elements of medical coverage, but the main thing I think that is important to know is that they both cover different elements, but together you have medical coverage. So hospital stays, doctor's appointments, surgeries, anything like that. On the medical coverage they provide, they pay about 80%, they leave 20% behind. And then Medicare is very one-dimensional, right? So it only covers medical bills. It doesn't cover prescription drug coverage or dental or vision or hearing. So when you have Medicare, there's two different types of plans you can get that you can pair with Medicare to fill in the gaps. And those two plans that exist are Medicare supplement plans and Medicare Advantage plans. And so some plans you can get, like a Medicare Advantage plan, oftentimes in many areas will be able to offer you like a $0 premium plan because it receives funding from the government. So if you got a plan like that, you'd get a pretty good plan. And potentially it could be a $0 premium cost to you. And in that case, you pay for Medicare Part B every month, which is about $175, like I mentioned. But that's all, right? So like that would be
Isn't Medicare Part B income dependent?
It is income dependent. So I'm glad you brought that up. And so if your income is over, I usually say about $200,000 a year, they can charge you more for Part B. And if that is the case for you, then that definitely throws another variable into this.
It's over.
Okay.
So,
and the other thing, and
I'm sorry, I've got a work call in 3 minutes, but it sounds like to me, and I would like to talk to you a little bit more. I'm sorry, I'm just working.
I totally understand. Yeah.
But it sounds like the best thing, and what I'm hearing from you today, but I have to think about this and I want to talk about it some more, is sign up for Part A because it becomes secondary and keep my current coverage under my current employer.
Yeah, it's sounding like that's probably the case, depending on how high the income is. And again, we can definitely talk about that at another time when you have more time, and I can give you a good idea of what the Part B exactly would be based on the income. But the thing to know about the income thing is they push they look at your income 2 years back. So in 24 they're looking at 22's income, and they update that every year. But yeah, it sounds like that probably is the best direction for you, but I am more than happy to schedule a follow-up call if you'd like, and we can talk a little bit more details and just make sure that is the best way to go. But of course, if that is the best way to go, that's what I want you to be aware of and know about. And my objective is really to let you know what your best option is, regardless if that's working with us or not.
No, I really appreciate it. Thank you so much. So
yeah. When is a good time for a follow-up call for you? Is there a time next week that's more convenient than another?
After 3:30 in the afternoon,
Okay.
because I work on Eastern Standard, so
Okay.
I'm obviously on Mountain Time. I think you are too. So
I
based
am.
on-
Yeah.
Okay, so after 3:30 p.m., I'm available.
Okay. How would next Wednesday, the 28th at 3:30 on the dot possibly be work for you? Or is that too close? Is that cutting it a little too close? We could also push it to 4 if that gives you a little bit more time if you're finishing up work.
Yeah, 4 o'clock next Wednesday would be great, and I'll just mark it on my calendar.
Perfect. Okay. Last question I have for you. I know you have another call. I don't want to keep you. So I'm actually going to have one of the agents. So I'm actually the co-owner of our company. And we're in Utah. We're a national company. We work all over the country, but I'm actually going to have one of my agents reach out to you at that time. Her name is Celeste,
Okay.
and she's going to pick up where I left off. I'm going to brief her on our call today.
Okay.
And she'll just kind of pick up where we left off and kind of go through some of these details with you. You know, if it turns out being on the group plan is best, then that's what we want to do. And then, heck, maybe a few years down the road, if you retire, maybe we can work with you then.
Okay, that sounds great.
Perfect. All right. Well, I will brief Celeste on this, and I'll have her call you next Wednesday, the 28th at 4 o'clock. Okay.
Awesome. Appreciate it. Thank you so much.
Hey, the pleasure is all mine. I hope you have a wonderful weekend, and thank you for your time today. Okay.
And thank you, sir.
All right. Thank you so much. All right. Bye-bye.
She was waiting for your call.
She was. And so that's one where it might not make sense for her, right? Because who knows what her IRMA is? It could be way up there, And if she only has $1,000 medical deductible on her plan, she's probably pretty good. But that was a great scenario that we haven't ran into yet today, because it's somebody that's working, has a group plan. Agents always ask me, what questions do I ask when they have a group plan? That's exactly it, right? Find out how good is the plan. Find out how much does the plan cost. Do they have dependents? And then we want to compare it to Medicare.
Yeah.
And if we help her get on A, right? Celeste, could you do me a favor? I'll send you her email. Can you send her my video on how to apply online? Because I promised, I said I would. I told her I would. I'll send you her information, but
She gave you her email?
oh, maybe she didn't.
Uh-uh.
Oh, she didn't. You're right.
Maybe I can text her.
Well, maybe why don't we do this? Bring it up on the call next week and be like, hey, Christian mentioned to me that he was going to send you a video on how to apply online. Where's a good email I can send that to you?
Okay.
Hi, is this Cynthia?
Yeah, this is she.
Cynthia, hi, my name is Christian. Yesterday, you spoke with one of my associates who mentioned that a local Medicare specialist in your area would be reaching out to you. So that's just me. I'm just following back up with you. Do you mind if I ask you a couple questions to determine if I can be of any service?
Yeah.
Okay, perfect. So I see you're turning 65 in July. Is that right?
Yeah, I know you guys keep reminding me.
I know. I'm sorry. I'm sorry.
Yeah.
And I'm willing to bet also, right? Like probably since you turned 64, you're getting mail, all kinds of calls, like a million things, right?
Oh man. Yeah. Yeah.
Hey guys, so unfortunately the remainder of this call we could not put into the video for you. The fact of the matter is, some of these calls there was just too much personal information being discussed, and there was just too much of a challenge in terms of editing it in a way to where we could still put enough of the call up to where you could know what was going on. In this particular situation, I'll just kind of fill you in on kind of what happened. I really wanted to put this call into the video because I felt like it was a fantastic call. It was one of the best ones of the video, so I am sorry we couldn't put it in. More or less what happened is this is a person that is turning 65 in the coming months. She had already signed up for a Medicare supplement with an unnamed carrier that I will not mention their name several months ago. This is a carrier that is known for having very high price increases. So the way I pitched this in terms of trying to get her to reevaluate is I pitched her a higher rate for the Medicare supplement plan she's committed to. So a $10 a month higher rate, and with the pitch I was pitching, I was trying to get her to understand that the company that we would be switching to has a more favorable history in terms of rate increases than the company she signed up for. I believe we're going to be able to get there, but the big problem is she's a July birthday, if I remember correctly, so she is still too far out. She doesn't even have her Medicare number yet. And the company in particular that I was pitching is a 90-day out situation for one. Not 6 months like the original company she signed up for, but I do feel very strongly that we're going to be able to work with her. We had a great, lovely conversation. It ended with me sending her a YouTube video that I made that's a tutorial that walks her through how to apply for Medicare online. I answered a bunch of her questions. The call went really well. I apologize that we couldn't put it into the video. It was just the challenge of editing it was just too much with all of the personal information that was shared and everything that was went over, and we want to protect the privacy of these individuals. And if we had cut it all out, it just would have made no sense. It would have been impossible to follow. So hope you guys understand. The video will pick back up at the end of the call so you can hear at least how it wraps up.
Look forward to your YouTube video.
Awesome. I already sent it through email, so you should have it as soon as we hop off, okay?
Okay, great. Hey, thank you so much, Christian.
Thank you. Have a great weekend, okay?
Bye-bye.
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 So she's starting to go off into Pluto a little bit. I had to put the brakes on, but yeah, that was a long one. We definitely have to chop that one up.
Yeah.
So
we also need to make sure that Andrea edits out her email address.
yes,
Yeah.
I'll also send you her email too, though, because
Okay.
I did get it. Again, T65 leads, right? Like a lot of these people aren't going to be ready. Here's another thing to keep in mind. I went through, and so about 50 leads I called. 50 leads on this video. I went through and called once. Our contact rate was just a little bit over 10%. So imagine what would happen if I was calling these 4 or 5 times over a couple of days, different times of the day. Like my contact rate would be through the roof. Let's say I'm automating these. I'm not even automating these, right? Like I made all this progress with one call through, 2 hours basically. So guys, there's no excuse. There's no excuse for all you guys watching this, right? That can't get anywhere with these leads. And yeah, I got a lot of voicemails, but I'm calling through one time. The art form is calling 4, 5, 6 times, trying different days, trying different times of the day. If I had the time to go through and do that, imagine how far I'd get. Look how far I got just calling one time through, right? Like I would be shocked. And I think there's a very low possibility that we don't write 3 or 4 apps out of this, right? So like, let's say these leads are on sale right now for $30. So let's say there were 50 leads bought at $30 a pop. That's $1,500. Let's say we write 3 clients out of that. Just the one time calling through 3 clients, right? 3 times 3, let's say my average commission is 400, right? Let's just call it that. I mean, really, if I write any Medicare Advantage, the true up's going to be way higher than that. Let's say 500. The average is 500. I think that's probably better. I'm breaking even with one time calling through. We're not even thinking about the lifetime value of the client. The lifetime value of a client is like, depending on your metric, 1,200, 1,500, some might even go as far as 1,800, right? Your lifetime value, meaning like on average, how much is the value of the client, right? So like, and I could break even. I'm very likely going to break even on just one time calling through. Imagine if I'm calling through 2 times, 3 times, 4 times, right? It could probably be double or 3x what my investment on the leads would have been. Of course, I'm a busy man. I will not be personally following up with these leads or anything like that. I'm gonna give them to Celeste, allow her to do it. But yeah, guys, I mean, this is a prime example that you can do great with these. So hope this video was helpful for you guys. I hope you got a lot out of it. And Lead Heroes loves you.